What's going on, everybody? This is the Blockchain Backer, bringing you the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. Today, we're going to be talking about the XRP price chart, as there's a lot of interesting things going on with XRP right now. We've talked about it briefly last week, expecting a little bit of a flush back down to sweep out these levels. So far, it's recovered off that low that was set there 3 days ago. So far, it's held, as the price of Bitcoin still continues to waddle around in here. This is what we've been talking about, but this video is primarily going to be focused on XRP. However, we've got to tie in everything together with Bitcoin, but there's a lot of exciting things going on with XRP right now that I'd like to touch on, whether it comes to the ending of accumulations and how those can look and how we're looking right now in relation to those, or when it comes to the things that we've talked about, again, tying in Bitcoin on whether or not Bitcoin's going to go into an expansion. And that, of course, has always been the moment for XRP, has been during expansionary times. And right now, we've talked about Bitcoin being in like a chop zone in here, that there would be a lot of washing around to take place in here as we do upon those escapes. And that has tended to be true as we're trying to touch $69,000 this morning. The same goes for the altcoin market. We've talked about this a lot over the last couple of weeks, that there would probably be some chop in here. I was more worried about what sentiment would be like in a chop like this. Bitcoin probably in chop city as well. But the reality of these things is, how do they conclude? They conclude after the chop is done to going. And then for Bitcoin as well, after the chop is done, eventually going, right? And hate it or love it, that has been the moments when XRP tends to go, is whenever there's an actual expansion taking place in the market for Bitcoin and the rest of the crypto market. That's how it's been for every bull for XRP. It's been a broad-based rally. But as for this pullback that we witnessed here a couple of days ago in these accumulation schematics, we had this actually happen twice in 2017, where this pullback happened, and then that was kind of the launch pad for things to get going. And even structurally, from the one from late 2017 before it got going, we had a very similar accumulation schematic taking place in here before it got out. And with really what we've had going on in here, I spoke about this, I believe last week, maybe the week prior, talking about accumulation schematics and that, bouncing in these ranges, and then you flush that range down to the low, and then that becomes it. That's what we've been talking about over here with the altcoin market, on how being kind of in that range, flushing the low of the range, and then working back up, and then just having another consolidation, and then you can get your way out. And that's really exactly what this whole thing has been over here for XRP. So the moral of the story is, of course, we've been in this thing for a very long time, but have we completed accumulation schematics that would be appropriate for prices to go up? It sure appears like it to me. Is Bitcoin acting like what it would act like prior to an expansion taking place? It looks like it to me. And so with actual price action, there's not a whole lot to say here, except like it appears that we're at the end of accumulation. My thoughts are, this thing probably wasn't even supposed to happen right in here. Typically in these ranges, we actually kind of act like this, and then behave like that, and then go down and hit it. But as we know, this was the August 5th liquidation in the United States stock market. This is where the VIX event happens. That's nearly the size of C19. But still, even in that circumstance, the daily closes hold what should have been the support level. And then we actually pinpoint nail it right there. But the big question here is whether or not, even if we go into expansion, if we have a bull run for XRP, I think everybody wants to know, can we get a new all-time high, right? And that's why I've written all these newsletters. I've done all this research, restudying back to 2021 to figure out what happened in this market, because this market was so different from what we had seen in the past. Where only like 20% of assets set new all-time highs from the top 100, and trying to figure out what were the relationships between those, because that was far different from 2017. In 2017, of the top 10, it's like 9 out of 10 had massive 70x bull runs just in the first leg of the alt season. And that's what 2017 was like. Well, 2021 was nothing like that, right? So, if only 20% of the top 100 go set new all-time highs, what were the relationships that they had in common? And that's why we've talked so much about development activity, user activity levels, percentage drawdown, circulating supply, inflation. All of those different things to say, hey, what were those determining factors that they had in common? You always had your outliers like Dogecoin, which didn't have any of them. But for the bulk of the assets, did they have things in common? And the common themes were either having a shallow drawdown, or high development activity, or high user activity levels, while at the same time maintaining a reasonable level of inflation. So if we're getting ready for something to potentially happen here in the market after all this chop can be done, if Bitcoin can get a little bit of an expansion happening in here, and if XRP is going to be able to shuffle its way out of here and get moving, I think the $1 million question is, okay, is this just going to turn into some big retrace, or is it going to have the capacity to be able to get into the new all-time high? And so I look at it from just like a data perspective, right? Well, what were some of the qualities that those assets had in common with each other in 2021? One of the major ones was those shallow bear. Having something that was less than 94%. If an asset in 2018 from the top 100, right? So if it's 2018, we take a snapshot of the top 100 assets in 2018. If they experienced a greater than 94% drawdown during the bear market, they only had a 6% chance of setting a new all-time high. However, of the assets that did drawdowns that were less than 94%, 65% of them set new all-time highs. 2 out of every 3. Where does XRP land when it comes to drawdowns, right? It's in the top 10, but that's not the thing we're here to talk about. What about development activity, right? Not the greatest, right? It's not the hugest amount of development activity that we see. But the big thing now has been user activity levels. And this is the thing that has me the most excited, is we're potentially looking at something like being around here for Bitcoin and near the end of accumulation over here for XRP. And the question is, can we get into a new all-time high? Well, finally, we're seeing user activity. And I want to talk about that for a minute because this couldn't have shown up at a better time. But over the last 2 weeks, user activity levels have absolutely exploded on XRP. You'd pretty much have to be living under a rock to not know why, of course, because First Ledger came out. I'm not affiliated with them. I do not have a referral link from them. I'm not sponsored by them, but we have to talk about it because it's big. But in the last 2 weeks, meme coins have become tradable over here on the XRP ledger. And over here on firstledger.net, you can see these. Now, there's a lot of mixed opinions on meme coins. And some people, I guarantee, who are watching right now are turning their head and saying, I can't believe we're even talking about this. I'm going to tell you something right now. Okay, I'm going to talk to you like a big boy or a big girl. It does not matter what you care. Look at that. That is what matters. There's a segment of this market who does care. There are participants and users in this market who do care, and it is exploding activity on the XRP ledger. It is drawing in new people, it is contributing money to the automatic market makers, and it is exploding automatic market maker volume, creating a DeFi market over here on XRP now. You're getting social media attention while drawing in new users and money pouring into the automatic market makers with people who are contributing to the pools exploding as well and making money from contributing to the TVL or to the automatic market maker. So I understand this is a mixed topic for a lot of people. And a lot of people have had this, oh, this is Ripple, this is cross-border payments, this is all the money with R3, Corda, IMF, Swift. And I just, I haven't seen any of that materialize since I've been here for 7 years with XRP. I haven't seen any of that materialize. But you know what? I'm seeing something materialize before our eyes right here, right now. I'm watching attention on XRP explode on social media. I'm watching user activity levels explode, and I'm watching TVL and the automatic market maker volumes rocket ship. I went, and before you think of me as like, this guy doesn't get XRP, back in March of this year, I flew all the way to Australia on my own dime to deliver a keynote speech at the Wave of Innovations Gold Coast. And I delivered a 30-minute presentation talking about development activity and user activity levels and the correlations between XRP and Bitcoin in the broader markets. I'll come on here and I'll stir the pot on Twitter and over here on YouTube, right? I'm not afraid to do that in real life as well. I went on stage and just stirred the whole narrative. 4-year cycles, block reward halvings, didn't matter. I'll get on stage, I'll present all of that at the same time because it's the true data. My discussions have been, we need to see development activity, we need to see user activity levels over here on the XRP ledger because otherwise it's been dead. Look at this on October 15th. $64,000 of automatic market maker volume in a whole day, right? We're talking about a chain that is supposed to be the best in the world, and it's doing $64,000 in daily volume on chain. But look now. Just 2 days ago, 5 million. We're talking 70 to 80x happening in less than 2 weeks, and we're talking just daily volumes are 70 to 80x. This little blip over here from back here, this thing is pretty much going to look the size of this in no time with how fast this is going. We are finally seeing we are finally seeing users. We are finally seeing contributions to automatic market makers, TVL going straight lined up, and volumes just absolutely rocketing, right? So this is making an environment now for people to actually be able to contribute to the automatic market maker to make money. Why would anybody even contribute to the automatic market makers to make nothing? You're just taking on risk to not get any type of reward. But now they're getting a return, right? You look over here at these things and you can see what their volumes are in here, how many contributors there are, and what the fees are, because there is now money to be made in here, and there are pools opening up, and all of this is happening at just the right time, right? If this is going to end up happening in here for Bitcoin, if we're going to have to chop here before there's eventually an expansion, if there's more chop here in the altcoin market before there's an eventual expansion, or just XRP being here at the end of this range before ranges eventually take off, what's the thing we have desperately needed to see over here on XRP? And that is some sign of life, some sign of something rather than just narratives, storytelling. We've needed to see cold, hard data of things actually happening on chain, and now we have it. We are getting ready to head into this moment, not in a moment of like, let's say this happened 6 months ago and like things are kind of petering out. We've already gone through an excitement phase and all of this, and everything's just kind of petering out and slowing down. We're heading into this moment during an exciting time where it's like, this is just starting. How big is this going to get? How excessive is this going to get and wild is this going to get over here on chain when it comes to user activity levels and automatic market maker TVL contributions? We're heading into that like speculation of wondering how big is this going to get here as we're trying to get this thing to get ready to do this at the exact same time. And I just couldn't imagine a script any better in my head for something like that to appear at this time. So I come to you with this video with more excitement than I've had in a long time. I've spent way too much time talking about these things, I think really for like a year, at least a solid 6 months. I was like in Twitter spaces, we were making videos, we were talking about it on Twitter. I was traveling the world talking about it. I went on Brad Keim's show and was like, look, we got to see some development activity going on in this thing. And because it's just been an absolute ghost town over here. And to see this showing up here at this exact time is the exact thing you want to see, because we're talking about things of, does it have a chance to get into a new all-time high? Is there anything that can excite people and get people worked up to be excited about XRP in general? And there is. There's finally something there for retail. There's finally something exciting there happening, and we're seeing it show up in the actual data. And it couldn't show up at a more perfect time than it is right now. So I'm really excited for that, and I get it. This is not for 90% of people, but there's a big segment of people who love to gamble on meme coins. And it's not just the gambling on meme coins as the benefit of what happens in here, or the users pouring in, or the activity happening, but it's also the contributions over there to the automatic market makers that happen at the same time, providing contributors an opportunity to finally earn a yield. So there becomes a DeFi market happening on XRP at the same time. So we get both of them happening simultaneously. And that's exciting as we try to head into a moment like that, or like that, or like that for XRP. So certainly exciting. If the market's getting ready to expand, that's exciting on itself, but it's exciting to have the fundamental backing happening on chain at the exact same time. And it's all just showed up here within the last 2 weeks. That's super exciting. But all right, that's it. We'll check in on it again soon. Hopefully more developments happen, and hopefully that TVL just continues to blast, and hopefully we see some expansions take place in the market. But all right, that's going to be it for this one, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Of course, you can check out my newsletter over here at blockchainbacker.substack.com. You get access to all the past newsletters as well, and I do audio record all of these personally. You can, of course, check out bcbacker.com with over 40 videos and 11 hours of content teaching you how to set up your own charts and indicators within TradingView and CoinTrader Pro. There are links down here in the description of this video and my live streams to bcbacker.com and to the newsletter at blockchainbacker.substack.com. Otherwise, happy start to a new week, and we'll see what developments come for XRP as the week goes on and how big this thing ends up growing. But all right, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. If you could, please like this video and give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be notified of when I create new content and when I go live. As always, this is not investment advice, and I am not a financial advisor. But if you ever need a pick-me-up or a little bit of reassurance, just remember that the blockchain backers got your back. Have a good one.